people stop going backwards and start going forward. Many of them are now giving up on their belief in Jesus Christ. The writer declares that they are now being reproached. The writer declares that they are now being afflicted. 10 and 33, if my mind serves me right, said that they are being gazing stocks. That word literally in the Greek implies they're being put on the front stage. They're being made mockery of. People are laughing at them. And I tell you, brother pastor, don't ever worry about who's laughing at you. God's going to get the last laugh. You see, there are times, my brothers and sisters, that I've had people that laughed at me. I came here because I remember. I don't hear nobody. I came here. I know what people say about me all over the country. He'll go to them little churches. Yes, I will, because I used to pastor a little church. Always talking about people, always got something negative to say. There are fellas that didn't believe I was coming, but you tell them I was up in here, up in here, up in here. I did show up. The reality tonight is they were reverting back to their old way of life. Again, they were being persecuted. I do not know who was on the throne when they were being persecuted. I do not know whether it was Nero. I do not know whether it was Claudius. I don't know who the king was or the person that was reigning and ruling. All I know is that they were going through terrible situations. And because of that, they were going back. They were fearful that their lives might be taken. Others were fearful because they were losing their jobs. They were losing their homes. They were losing. But the writer declares, if you hold on to the hand of the Lord, you're going to make it.
You're going to make it. You preach it, God. Yes, sir.
Now one must recognize that the writer seems to be saying that if you're going to make it through tough, terrible, trying, and tearful times, you need to stay with the church. If you're going to make it through problems and perils, predicaments, and pressures, you need to stay with the church. If you're going to make it with your fears, your failures, your frustration, and your fumbles, you need to stay with the church. High five your neighbor and tell them there's still power in the church.
Yes, it is.
He says, go to church. Now, there are reasons that people say they don't go to church. Holler at the what are some of them? I'm going to tell you that way. There are those that suggest I don't have time. Other people believe, well, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist, or I'm an agnostic, which means I don't know whether he exists or not. While others say I don't believe in organized religion. While others say I don't like the pastor. Come here, let me say something to you. And the pastor may not like you. Because they don't have to like you to love you. I'm going to get on an airplane. I don't hear nobody. This is for the homies that ain't here, you know. There are other people that say I don't believe in the program, the projects, or the plans of the church. I don't like all of that petty politics in the people.
That's right.
Others say I don't feel like I need the fellowship. Other people say, well, you know, there's a lot of hypocrites in the church. Can I come here? Let me tell you this. There's a whole lot of hypocrites maybe at your house. Some on your job. I don't hear nobody. Go to the grocery store, it's hypocrites there. You don't stop going there. Hypocrites at the bank, you don't stop going there. Family reunion, you're going to find some hypocrites there. That don't make you stop going. Is there anybody here that know, regardless of there being hypocrites involved in the church, just make sure you ain't one? Other people suggest Sunday is the only day I have to rest. And Reverend, you know it's the Sabbath day. with all of the reasons or rather excuses.
Right.
The writer of Hebrews says, go to church.
Go.
Because assembly is required. He literally says, regardless about how you feel about the church, you ought to go anyway. Because that's your power source. You can have a good lamp with a good shade and a good bulb in it, but if it ain't plugged up, ain't no light. Tell your neighbor, you can have a good lamp, you can have a good bulb with a beautiful shade, but if it ain't plugged up, what I'm really trying to tell you is stay plugged up to the church. Stay plugged up. Stay plugged up. There are those that say, well, I can get fellowship. I can get fellowship at the ball game, at the bowling league, or the bridge club. But ain't no fellowship like church fellowship. Book of Hebrews is really a forsaken book. But the writer says, whatever you do, stay with the church.
Yes, Lord.
One must recognize that the Lord's church, the ecclesia, whether it's invisible or visible, is important to the world. There are those that suggest, my brothers and sisters, that we got too many churches. And I tell you tonight, we don't have enough churches. You fool around and start talking about people acting like they acted, listen, and all of them ain't in the club. Some of them up in here. Go on, help me. I can get through with this if y'all go on and help me. Give me 2 or 3 amen somewhere back over yonder. I can plow this road and drop the plow deep and go on where I'm going. Tell your neighbor, we need the church. We need the church. The writer declares that Jesus the Christ himself, better than the prophets, better than angels, better than Moses, better than Joshua, better than Aaron, better than the sacrifices, better than the Levitical system, better than the priesthood, better than the sanctuary, better than the covenant.
I hear you, God.
How important is this word better? 1 in 4. There's that word better. 6 and 9. Better. 7 and 7 better. 7 and 19 better. 7 and 22 better. 8 and 6 better. 9 and 22. 23 better. 10 and 34 better. 11 and 16 better. 11 and 35 better. 11 and 40 better. 12 and 24. He just and because he's better, you ought to make your way to the house of the God. Let me suggest to you this evening that if you don't go to church, you're either going to be depressed, you're either going to drift, or you're going to become disappointed. Turn around and tell your neighbor, I got too much stuff going on in my life to stay away from the house of God. Says to you and I here, whatever you do, forsake not.
That's right.
And that word forsake made up of 3 words in the Greek. It literally implies one who is disappointed, one who is depressed, and one who is disturbed. And whenever you feel like that, you ought to stay in church. Isn't it funny? Come here just a moment. Isn't it funny that folk can run you out of church, but they stay? A whole lot of people, you don't watch them, they'll run you out, and then you go back up in there, and they right there. You need to turn and tell your neighbor, you ain't running me nowhere. I'm up in here for good. I'm in it to win it.
Let it be known this day.
Whatever you do, stay
Oh, my.
Somebody said, I don't like all the stuff that goes on down there.
Right.
You don't like everything going on in your job. You still go. You don't like everything happening in your house. You still turn in the key. I don't hear nobody. So what is the purpose what is the purpose of your going to the house of God? It is to provoke other people to love and good works.
Right.
Amen.
Now let me suggest to you.
That's good.
Now the very purpose for your going to church really ain't about you.
Right.
It's about other people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Somebody needs to see you. They know what you're going through.
Right.
But you show up.
You show up.
Your hands are still waiting. Your feet are still packed. You're still hollering back at the preacher. Preach, Reverend, preach. They know you just lost your house. They know your children acting crazy. They know you got cancer. They know you lost your job. It ain't really for you. You are a testimony for other people so that they will see good works. Watch what the text says. You provoke them to love and good works.
Yes, sir.
That word love.
My Lord.
That word love in the Greek has 4 different meanings. There's first of all filial, where we get that word Philadelphia from. It's brotherly love. There's stergo, which is familial love. It's a family type of love. There's eros, which is sexual love. But he calls for us to really get deep in love. Somebody asked what love got to do with it. Glad you asked. Everything. This is agape love. It's love on the top shelf. It's a love that serves, surrenders, and sacrifices without asking for anything in return. So he says that when you go to church, you're provoking individuals to love and good work.
Yes, sir.
Now one must recognize that there is a need for every child of God to go to the house of God. There is a need for everyone here to understand that the Lord is one day coming back for a church without a spot, wrinkle, or blemish. You need to recognize that ain't nothing like the house of God, nothing like the church. There ain't no convention like the church. There ain't no mall like the church. Ain't no movie like the church. Your job ain't like the church. When I go to church, I feel better. Listen, have you ever gone to church not feeling well? And then before you know it, you hear your hands up. Have you ever gone to church not feeling well? After a while, you see yourself running up the aisle to what I'm doing back here. Have you ever gone to church not feeling well? Not really feeling well in your spirit, not really feeling well in your body, but somewhere between the call to the worship and the benediction, somewhere you get a case of the I can't help it. Go on, high five your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I've been right there before. That's why it's imperative and important that whatever you do, you ought to show